Dear participants, good afternoon. Thank you for joining Latvenergo Investor Webinar. Today we're hosted by Latvenergo member of the Management Board and CFO Guntars Baļčūns, who will introduce us with group's key activities and most recent financial results. The presentation will be followed by a live Q&A session. To submit your question to the company, please use the Q&A window that you can find on the bottom of the screen. The session is being recorded and the recording will be available shortly. Now, without further ado, I would like to hand over to Guntars.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Guntars Baļčūns, and I am CFO of Latvenergo. In this session, we will cover the main events in our financial performance during the first half of 2022. Before I start talking about financial results, I would like to briefly present Latvenergo Group profile and highlight the key market factors and events that affected our business performance. So Latvenergo is the largest green electricity producer in the Baltics, thanks to our environmentally friendly energy generation portfolio, which consists of low-cost hydropower plants and highly efficient combined heat and power plants. 2 terawatts of electricity was generated from renewable energy resources that represents 80% of total electricity generated in the first half of 2022. Latvenergo Group divides operation into operating segments: generation and trade, and distribution. Significant part of group's EBITDA is generated from regulated activities, ensuring cash flow predictability and stability, and most of it is made up of a distribution segment. Main focus for our trade business is to take advantage of a broad customer base. At the end of June, our electricity customer portfolio was more than 790,000 customers, from which 95% is households. Latvenergo is state-owned company, and the company's credit rating is Baa2 with a stable outlook. So, as we see today, there is tremendous focus on energy market and energy prices and the security of supply. The electricity prices have been very volatile, and the price increase was mainly driven by decision of Russia to limit gas supply to Europe, which raises concerns of gas availability and sufficiency during the coming winter. The electricity price increase was also supported by lower renewable energy output and higher CO2 and coal prices. However, given this situation, we have already replenished our gas reserves in the Inčukalns underground gas storage in timely manner. At the end of June, we had 3.3 terawatt hours of natural gas in our reserves, and at least 2 more terawatt hours will be delivered in the coming months until the end of this year. Besides that, starting from the beginning of 2023, we expect to structure additional LNG deliveries through the Klaipėdas terminal or the new Estonia-Finland terminal. This altogether would be enough to ensure the production of electricity and heat at the planned production regime of our combined heat and power plants. Ensures the creation of state gas reserves in amount of 2 terawatt hours, and also gives us opportunity for additional gas sales to business customers. Additionally, considering the current situation in the energy resource market and thinking about the gas consumption limitation, we have decided that some part of heat in Riga we could produce in heat boilers by using diesel, at least until the gas delivery stabilizes. Looking at energy market situation in the first half of 2020, we can see that average natural gas price at ETF trading platform was almost 5 times higher, reaching 100 euros per megawatt hour. Accordingly, the average electricity spot price in Baltics was almost 3 times higher than a year ago. It is a rapid change. And as you can see in the graph, in June, the historical average monthly price record in Latvia was reached, exceeding 218 euros per megawatt hour. Looking at the table, you can see that the rapid price increase was observed in all European countries. For example, in Denmark and Germany, it was more than 3 times higher. Meanwhile, in France, it was almost 4 times higher. Looking at the market situation today, we can see that the prices in July and August has continued to rocket. And in August, the average electricity price in Latvia increased already to 467 euros per megawatt hour. Regarding to energy price forecasts in coming periods, I have to admit that the uncertainty still is quite high, and the prices most likely will continue to be high. Following slide summarizes our key financial figures for the first 6 months period of 2022. More detailed information will be provided in following slides. So turning to slide number 8, our financial results of Latvenergo Group for 6 months period of 2020 is quite good. The group revenues in the first half of 2022 increased by 66% and reached 745 million euros as a benefit from higher power price in the Baltics. Despite the difficult situation in the supply of gas and significant increase in gas price, group's EBITDA was 56% higher, reaching 227 million euros. This was mainly driven by increase of electricity sales prices that corresponds to electricity price increase in the market. As well, we had 5% larger output at Daugavas hydropower plants, and as well due to well-balanced hedging policy. And the group's profit for 6 months period of 2022 also increased and amounted to 142 million euros. So let's take a look at generation and trade segment. That is the largest segment by revenues and EBITDA, accounting of 80% of total revenues and EBITDA in 2022. Segment's revenues was positively impacted by higher electricity market price in the Baltics. However, segment EBITDA growth was supported by adjustment of electricity sales prices to the market situation and 5% higher output at Daugavas hydropower plants, as well as due to the well-balanced hedging policy. In the first half of 2022, Latvenergo Group was the largest green electricity producer in the Baltics, producing 2.3 terawatt hours of electricity, which is approximately 27% of total amount of electricity generated in the Baltics. Most of electricity, or 2 terawatt hours of that was generated at Daugavas hydropower plants, which is 5% more than in the respective period year ago. The amount generated at Latvenergo combined heat and power plants dropped significantly, but namely by 71%, due to extraordinary price increase of natural gas, which is a fuel resource in our combined heat and power plants. Considering both factors, greater hydro output and smaller output at CHPP plants, the share of generated renewable electricity at our plants was 88% was generated from renewable resources. That is all-time high. So in the next slide, I will cover key highlights at the trade segment. In the first half of 2022, there was a positive dynamics in the number of Latvenergo customers. The number of our customers outside Latvia has increased more than 2 times, exceeding 140,000 customers. And at the end of June, we had 790,000 electricity customers and more than 20,000 gas customers as well in the Baltics. Our electricity retail sales in the Baltics amounted to 2.6 terawatt-hours, and our retail electricity market share in Baltics was 90%. About 1/3 of retail electricity was sold outside Latvia. Our natural gas retail sales were slightly over 500 gigawatt-hours. I am glad that our new business lines have performed successfully as well. With a growing market demand for renewable energy, the number of contracts for the sale of solar panels in Baltics rose almost 9 times, exceeding 3,400 contracts. At the end of June, the total installed solar panel capacity provided to retail customers to reach almost 17 megawatts, which makes us one of the leading providers of this service in the market. If you look at distribution segments, and in the first half of 2022, the distribution segment asset value is 1.8 billion euros, and it makes up 20% of group's EBITDA. This segment provides electricity distribution service in Latvia for about 800,000 customers. This segment is regulated, and distribution tariffs are approved by Public Utility Commission. The segment revenues did not change significantly compared to the respective period a year ago, reaching 152 million euros. Meanwhile, EBITDA decreased by 20% to 45 million euros. Financial results were negatively impacted by higher electricity loss costs, with the electricity market price increase in Latvia. If we look at our investments, and our gross investments totaled 56 million euros, which was about the same as in respective period last year. Structure of investments was not changed compared to previous year. Most or 2/3 was made in network assets to reconstruct the distribution network and improve the resilience of network. Currently, the largest generation-related investment project is the modernization of our Daugavas hydropower plants. At the same time, we are actively working on development of solar and wind projects in Baltics, whereas main investments are planned in coming years. Let's turn to funding part. So in May this year, 5 years green bonds in amount of 100 million euros were issued under the 200 million euro program. But in June this year, the repayment of maturing green bonds amounting to 100 million euros was carried out. As a result, the total amount of outstanding bonds represent 90% of total debt, constituting 150 million euros. Total long-term borrowings at the end of June 2020 were 803 million euros, consisting also of loans from international financial institutions and commercial banks. As I already mentioned, the existing bond program is approved in amount of 200 million euros, and the remaining part of this program of 50 million euros are planned to be issued this year. Latvenergo Group has a balanced debt repayment schedule and strong capital structure, limiting potential financial risks. Now let's turn to the current events. In this part, I would like to inform about two topics: wind park project and electron drive. So let's start with the wind park project. In the March this year, Latvenergo Group medium-term strategy for 2026 was approved, which provides for ambitious growth program to expand generation portfolio with focus on wind and solar energy across the domestic market. On 22nd July, in the line with the approved strategy, a joint venture of Latvenergo and Latvijas vēja, that is state-owned forest company, for development of wind parks in Latvia was established. The share capital of Latvijas vēja parki is 2 million euros, and Latvenergo has an 80% equity stake in the newly established joint venture, while Latvijas vēja has a 20% equity stake. The objective of joint venture is to build wind farms with a total capacity of at least 800 megawatts by 2027, which will ensure significant increase in renewable electricity generation capacities and contribute to the progress toward energy independence and security of supply and climate neutrality. The joint venture will ensure that Latvia achieves its energy independence and climate neutrality goals by 2030 in the line of Latvian National Energy and Climate Plan. Total investments are planned around 1 billion euros, and it is planned that the first wind park will be built by 2026. That would lead to lower electricity prices. Thus, we see the benefits also for all customers in the Baltics. Regarding electron drive, I have to mention that electric car market is growing very fast in Baltics. Already now, Latvenergo Drive charging network is available in the largest cities of Latvia, and it provides safe movement through the territory of Latvia without worrying about the next nearest charging point. By the end of this year, we are planning to have already 230 charging points and to start operations also in Estonia and Lithuania. Development of electromobility is one of the objectives set in Latvenergo medium-term strategy, promoting sustainable and smart mobility. Our target is by 2026 to establish at least 1,200 reliable and customer-friendly electric charging ports in Baltics. In July this year, next to Latvenergo administrative building in Riga, the most powerful electric car charging area in Baltics was started to work with 11 simultaneous public charging ports, and 4 of them with charging power up to 150 kilowatts. Such charging points are a new service in Latvia and make charging service more convenient for our customers. This type of chargers will be installed in many more locations. In terms of current events, this is all for today. So the last slide of my presentation represents the main highlights. So in the first half of 2022, 88% of electricity was generated from renewable energy sources. Number of electricity customers has increased by 8%. We have established joint venture with Latvijas vēja for development of wind parks in Latvia, and we have managed to increase the profit to 142 million euros. That's it from my side, and now I'm ready for questions.
Guntars, thank you for the presentation. A reminder that participants, all your questions are welcome through the Q&A window that you can see beneath the presentation. The first question that we have received through the registration page: is Latvenergo ready to take over Latvijas gāze and GASO responsibilities in a case they underperform?
Yes, thank you for this question. So, in accordance with the decision of Cabinet of Ministers, the amount of gas required for household needs of 1.1 terawatt-hour has been reserved in Inčukalns underground gas storage. So at the moment, we do not see any need to take over Latvia's gas household customers and provide them with gas supplies. It should be also noted that we have structured gas supplies that exceeds the gas needs required for electricity generation, and it gives us opportunity to conclude additional gas sales contracts to our business customers.
Thank you. And then there's one question that we have received online from one of the participants. Is it planned to list the newly established joint venture with Latvijas valsts meži on the exchange?
Thank you for this question. I could answer that at the moment we are planning to fund investments on balance sheet terms. So at the moment it seems that the investments will be funded by Latvenergo and Latvijas valsts meži investments in that company. So no plans for going on exchange, at least at the moment.
Thank you. Currently, we have not received any more questions, so we'll start slowly to wrap up. I'll remind you that the recording of the webinar will soon be available online. Therefore, for those of you interested to watch it later one more time, please follow Latvenergo announcements. Thank you for joining the call.